Hey ladies and gentlemen, Richard Kanopi here, and I'm back again for another TV show review, and today we are reviewing the first episode of the new Ducktales, episode 1 and 2, titled Woohoo. Wow, that was a long rhyme. So, yes guys, the highly anticipated new Ducktales is out. I know you guys have been waiting patiently to hear my thoughts, and so here we go. Now, here's the thing, this came out Friday and Saturday, but it ran for 24 hours on cable yesterday, so if there isn't a chance you didn't see it, well, the good news is you can watch it on Disney XD's free app. Just download the app or go to their website, and the first thing you'll see is Ducktales. You can watch it for free, no signing up, no paying, just click the episode and watch. So, yes. Now, I will not be going that much in depth into this because I'm doing a collaboration review with my friend Anime Freak. So, yes, I will put a link to his channel so you guys can go down and subscribe. So, yes. And there will be light spoilers. So, again, if you haven't seen this episode, please click out and go watch it. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and see if this show truly is going to rewrite history. Let's do this, guys. Okay, so the first half of this episode, we see Donald is getting ready for a job interview, and his nephews, Huey and Louie, are pretty much trying to get him ready, help him, and also it is nice to hear Tony come back as Donald, and, you know, this is just very nice. So you see the interactions between them. There are some very funny hijinks, and Donald can't find a babysitter because the current babysitter got relocated to their new address. So Donald decides, okay, well, what am I gonna do? So his nephews convince him to leave them alone, they'll be fine, and just when he's about to leave, we see that Dewey is getting ready to take the boat out. So, yeah, after this, Donald's saying, I can't leave you guys alone, I got an idea. So he's gonna take them to Scrooge McDuck, and of course, the boys are freaking out, the bajillionaire, and of course, Louie's like, you're finally gonna sell us. So, yeah, it is crazy. So, of course, then we actually get to see Scrooge McDuck. He's at a meeting with his finances, discussing how pretty much discussing business talk, and we also see he's very bored, you know, he's in a rut, basically, and we actually do get to see his money bin, and it is very nice to see the money bin again. It's very nice to see McDuck business, so yes. Then he's driven home by Launchpad, who this time around isn't just going to be the pilot, he's also going to be his chauffeur and pretty much other things. So yeah, it's pretty great. And then of course, we finally get to see Donald and Scrooge reunite, and you can tell there is some history between these two, and Donald and Scrooge are not necessarily on good terms with each other, but Donald's pretty much saying, I need you to watch The Boys. And Uncle Scrooge accidentally agrees, and now he has to watch The Boys while Donald is at his job interview. So the boys are taken around a tour of his mansion with Mrs. Beakley, and pretty much they try and interact with their uncle, but it doesn't really go out that well. So, of course, Scrooge says, go to your rooms. He gives them marbles. And then he pretty much is, you know, talking to himself how they said he used to be a big deal. So then later on, the boys get captured by Webby. And, of course, it's Webby. It's the new Webby. So I gotta say, I love this new Webby. So, yeah. But then they become best friends because she knows who they are. And then later on, we see that Scrooge is trying on his old submarine outfit because a snowstorm is hit and it aligns perfectly with the city of Atlantis. So Scrooge is back going on adventures. And of course, Mrs. Beakley says, you're just doing this because those kids made fun of you. And of course, we see that Scrooge is pretty much saying he doesn't need family. He made his money by being tougher than the toughies and smarter than the smarties, and he did it with no family. So then, of course, Webby and the triplets get into some trouble in the quote-unquote museum, where they find all of these ancient relics that Scrooge has discovered. And at first, Dewey doesn't believe it. He thinks they're fake. And then later on, everything comes to life. And basically, they get into trouble, and Scrooge finds them. And then Scrooge has to take care of it. And we actually get to see Scrooge fight. And oh my goodness, it's just amazing. It is just amazing. And then after that, we see that Scrooge has to take down this golden dragon, which will hunt for golds, after the gong that released it had to be rang 3 times. So yeah, there is that. So we see Scrooge riding this dragon, and the triplets and Webby and Launchpad decide they need to help Scrooge. So they do, and they stop the dragon before it gets his money bin. And then we see Scrooge swim in his money bin, which, again, brought tears to my eyes. Nostalgic tears. And then Scrooge is happy. You think he's gonna be mad at him, but no, he is happy. He says, "You guys get me into trouble. I'll show you how to get into trouble the proper way." So, of course, he takes a liking to them, and he decides he's gonna take all of them on his trip to the city of Atlantis. And that was part 1. Episode 1, holy shit, it gets right into the point. There are actually some Disney Afternoon Easter eggs in here. There's Easter eggs referencing Darkwing Duck, Darkwing Duck, Goof Troop, and Tailspin. Yeah, so it's possible we are gonna get to see a Disney TV universe, or Disney Afternoon TV universe, hopefully. Now, the second part, oh, sorry, before I get into that. So, yes, the first episode, holy shit, it really doesn't waste any time. The characters are all great. I loved every one of them. The voice acting was amazing. The animation was amazing. Like, everything in this first episode was amazing. Like, I literally cannot stop gushing on how amazing it was. I didn't even have any problems with it. I watched this 3 times. This first episode 3 times, and it was pretty much nearly flawless. So, yeah, it was that good. Now on to the second episode, which sees the team going to Atlantis, and we see that Scrooge is telling Donald, you got nothing to worry about. And I forgot to mention that at the end of the first episode, Donald got hired by Scrooge's enemy, Flintheart Glomgold. So yes, Glomgold is back, and now Donald is caught up in this. So yeah, Scrooge is telling Donald, you got nothing to worry about. And then we see that they're diving, and they're trying to find the lost city of Atlantis. And we see the interactions between all of them, like Louie is trying to teach Webby how to lie. We see that Dewey is pretty much trying to bond with Uncle Scrooge, but doesn't really work. Uncle Scrooge just wants him to stay safe and not get into danger. And Louie is pretty much just, you know, giving out shirts and wants to play songs and games. So, yeah, that's pretty much what's going on. And then they're going into Atlantis, and they accidentally get into some trouble along the way because Dewey decided to change the map. And then they finally go to Atlantis, and we find out it's upside down. So, yeah, crazy. And then we see that they make it fine, and also Glomgold finds them out by seeing that they stopped at one of his stations because they had to use the bathroom. So, yeah, pretty much, then after that, Glomgold follows them all the way to Atlantis, and both of them are there. So, also, we see that there are so many traps in Atlantis, and Dewey is again trying to be reckless and go straight into danger because he wants to impress his uncles. So then, we see that, Dewey and Scrooge McDuck are getting past these traps, and again, it's amazing between them, and the rest of them can't, the rest of the team has to find another way around after poor Launchpad got bitten by snakes. So, Huey, Louie, and Webby have to carry around Launchpad. So, yes. Then finally, Dewey and Scrooge see that Glomgold has found the Jewel of Atlantis. Now, this jewel is very important because it can power a whole city for decades. So, yeah, it's a very big deal. And then we see that, of course, Scrooge and Glomgold collide, and Scrooge is surprised that Donald is working for them. But Donald is pretty much a hostage at this point. So then we see them get trapped in this one room with water coming up, and then we see that the rest of the team has to fight these assassins that work for Glomgold. So then Dewey figures out something. He's apologizing to Donald, and Donald is trying to hold off the leak, but then Dewey comes up with an idea like, why is everything upside down? Like, why would this jewel be with all this gold? And then he looks up and he sees that it's the real jewel, but it's upside down. So they have to find a way to get up there. And of course, Uncle Scrooge is happy with him for figuring that out. So they tell Donald to let go and let the water build up so they can grab the jewel. They grab the jewel, it stops and powers down the city. They run out, and you get to see everyone meet up. And we see that Glomgold pretty much leaves his own team to die, buried under the city of Atlantis. And then, of course, they all escape, they all go back, and Scrooge pretty much tells, he beats Glomgold again, Glomgold thinking it's the real jewel when Scrooge shows up with the real jewel of Atlantis. And, of course, all is well, and also, too, Glomgold gets taken away by an octopus, but he'll be back. And then, of course, it ends with all of them happy, and, of course, the boat blows up. Donald and the boys' boat blows up, and now they have to live with Scrooge. So, yeah, it ends with the TV reporter saying they're going on mysteries to rewrite history. Ha! You see what they did there? And that's where it ends. Well, it does end with a spoiler. So if you don't want to hear the spoiler, okay, 3, 2, 1. Here's the spoiler. There was a painting that they saw back in the first episode, and it ends where Dewey is looking at it, and we see it's a picture of Scrooge and Donald when Donald was Scrooge's sidekick when they would go on crazy adventures. But then, when Dewey flips the page up, he sees his mother. So yes, this series is going to answer the question, what happened to Huey, Dewey, and Louie's parents? And we find out that their mother was a sidekick to Scrooge McDuck. So that's an interesting mystery. So it looks like they're taking Gravity Falls as inspiration with mystery. So yeah, guys, that's the end of the first and second episode, or just the premiere movie. And what did I think? It was amazing, guys. Truly amazing. I smiled and laughed. I was happy from beginning to end. I'm hooked on this show. This is how you do it. We finally have a reboot. That's great. Okay, all I gotta say is, Cartoon Network, you get an F minus for your reboots. This is how you do it. I don't want to beat that dead horse any longer, but yes, guys, this was amazing. It was action-packed. It was funny. The animation was good. It wasn't too fast, and it wasn't too slow. It was just the perfect pace. This whole movie had a great pace going to it, which I loved. The voice acting from all of the celebrities. Now, I don't mind when celebrities do voices, voice the characters, as long as they can, you know, put on a voice and not be themselves. David Tennant, he is the new Scrooge McDuck. He has officially taken the mantle as the new Scrooge McDuck, and I think Alan Young would be proud of him. to see that Scrooge McDuck will live on. Kate Micucci does an amazing job as Webby, and she's 10 times better than the old Webby girl, who was just a girl. But I do hope that we get to see more of Webby's feminine side and her being a quote-unquote girl. So hopefully she gets to learn that. Of course, the triplets were well voice acted by all of them. And of course, Beck Bennett does an amazing job as Launchpad. He is Launchpad. That's all I gotta say. Like, Mrs. Beakley was great. It was nice to hear Glomgold, the new actor who's playing him, and it was nice to hear Tony do the voice of Donald. Although, my one nitpick is that sometimes it was kind of hard to hear what Donald was saying. So hopefully in future episodes, we'll get to understand him more. It's just a nitpick. And the second episode, amazing too. Like, this whole movie was just amazing, and I cannot wait for the new episodes to come in September. So, yes, guys, if there was any doubts in your minds that this was gonna just ruin your childhood or not be as good, no, it is just as good as the original DuckTales. And the funny thing is that this shows that this is going to be DuckTales for a new generation. And it's not based off of this. It's taking elements of this, but it's mostly based off of the comics. So we're actually going to get to see the comics storylines mixed with this come together. And I think that's amazing. So yes, that is great. I can't wait to see it. And my final rating for this is a solid 9.5 out of 10. I definitely think this is worth the watch. You guys are going to love this show. And if there's any worries or doubts, just watch it and give your own opinion. So, yes, guys, that was my review for the first and second episode of DuckTales. And tell me down below, what do you guys think? Did you enjoy this new premiere movie, or did you have some concerns? Like, let's get a discussion going. I really want to hear your guys' feedback and what you think. And if you want me to continue reviewing this series all the way till Season 1 ends, let me know down in the comments below. Give this as many likes as you can. And again, thank you all so much for watching this. If you enjoyed this review, then please like, comment, subscribe. And until then, my fellow DuckTale fans, this is Richard Core Kenobi saying, may the Force be with you. I'll see you later, guys.